Welcome to Blacktown City Council's Budget Forum. Firstly, on behalf of Council, I acknowledge the Darug people as the original custodians of the land on which we meet today. We pay our respects to elders past and present and acknowledge the Aboriginal people for their custodianship of this land. My name is Joy Adan. I'm a writer, artist and coach living in and working in Blacktown City and raising my family here, and it is a pleasure to be your MC today. The aim of this forum is firstly to present in broad terms Blacktown City Council's draft budget for the coming financial year and the wider council's plans for the next 25 years. Then it's over to our esteemed panel here to discuss some of the ways forward for Blacktown and Western Sydney. But first, let's introduce our panel, starting with our Mayor, Brad Bunting. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Joy. And I've got to say to everybody on the panel, welcome to Blacktown. It's great to have you here with us this evening. This is an important part of what we do with our community is make sure that we're talking to them, we're getting feedback from the community, because as elected members, our job is to represent the community, to represent them in the chamber and make decisions in regards to how their lives are affected. So this is a really important tool. The team here at Council work really hard to bring you guys together so that we can understand your parts of the community as well. So thank you very much for participating in what is, I believe, going to be a great forum.
Thank you, Mayor Bunting. Now to our panel. To my right, we have Associate Professor Dr Paul Taylor, Head of Discipline, Exercise Science and Deputy Head, School of Behavioural and Health Sciences at ACU. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much, Joy.
And Tom Karma of SydWest Multicultural Services here in Blacktown.
Hi, Joy.
And next to the Mayor, we have Dr Kim Loo, a local doctor in Riverstone and leader in the practical application of research on heat reduction and health in Western Sydney. Thanks for joining us tonight, Kim.
My pleasure.
This is a budget forum, so let's have a look at the Council's budget plans, both in the short and long term.
Hi, it's my privilege to present Blacktown City Council's draft budget and operational plan for the coming financial year. Council's $767 million budget is much more than just a set of numbers. It's about building the sustainable modern city that meets the needs of our growing population, from essential services, childcare centres and libraries, to roads and parks, and our massive redevelopment in our city and town centres. We have also released our draft Community Strategic Plan 2025 to 2050, titled One Community Building a Brighter Future. The plan is the community's long-term vision for the city. The plan will guide Council over the next 25 years. The Community Strategic Plan, together with the 2025-26 budget, is shaping our city's future. Let's have a look at the details.
Blacktown City is one of the largest and fastest growing council areas in Australia. 450,000 people call Blacktown City home. Council's draft 2025 to 26 budget and operational plan delivers the infrastructure and services needed for the sustainable growth and development of our city. The budget allocates $126 million to major capital works, $82 million for building improvements across Blacktown City, $22 million to upgrade local roads and the vast network of footpaths, $7 million for the construction of drainage and stormwater infrastructure, $6 million to be spent on upgrading existing sporting facilities. A large part of Council's budget is allocated to the ongoing provision of services and the maintenance of our community facilities. $78 million for the operation and management of waste and recycling services, including the rollout of the new Food Organics and Garden Organics service, or FOGO, part of Council's commitment to sustainability and community well-being. $53 million is allocated in the budget for the maintenance of parks, reserves and open space. $31 million goes to the operation of the city's award-winning Kids Early Learning Centres. Blacktown City is recognised nationally as a leader in providing the very best community recreation and cultural facilities. $26 million is provided in the budget for the operation of aquatic centres, community centres and the Leo Kelly Blacktown Arts Centre. In addition, Council is allocating $11 million to Blacktown City libraries. Libraries with some of the biggest collections of non-English language literature in Australia. That's important for a community representing more than 180 countries and languages. The budget delivers a range of festivals and cultural programs. Council supports and celebrates our city's rich multicultural heritage. Blacktown City Council is one of the biggest employers in Western Sydney, more than 2,300 staff. A highly professional, well-trained, diverse workforce, dedicated to serving the residents and businesses of the city. Outdoor staff maintaining more than 700 parks, reserves and open spaces across our city. Instructors teaching our kids to swim and be safe. Educators providing a caring and safe environment in one of the largest childcare operations in New South Wales. Council also employs planners, engineers, lawyers, architects, environmentalists, accountants and many other trades and professions. The administration of one of the fastest growing cities in Australia is truly a big job. The budget allocates $28 million for customer service and governance functions. Council is a trusted partner with the Minns Labor government, delivering major projects in the Western Sydney Infrastructure Grants Program. More than $273 million is being invested in community projects throughout Blacktown City. A $26 million renewal of the Mount Druitt Library and Community Hub. A $40 million upgrade to Mount Druitt Swimming Centre. A First Nations cultural hub in Mount Druitt, designed in consultation with our local Aboriginal organisations. Expanding the Mount Druitt PCYC at Shalvey. New pools and facilities for swimmers of all abilities at the Blacktown Aquatic Centre. A new community hub at Seven Hills. And a new Leo Kelly Blacktown Arts and Cultural Centre. Council's 2025-26 budget supports a number of transformational projects, including the renewal of the Riverston, Marsden Park and Mount Druitt town centres. The budget funds the ongoing operations of the award-winning Blacktown Exercise, Sports and Technology Hub. Situated in the Blacktown International Sports Park, BEST is a $100 million state-of-the-art facility for training, accommodation, sports medicine, rehabilitation, research and education. Sport New South Wales named Blacktown City Council Local Council of 2024. The budget supports the award-winning Blacktown Animal Rehoming Centre in Glendenning. BARC provides world-leading facilities in Western Sydney for domestic animal welfare, rehoming and education in partnership with Sydney University and TAFE New South Wales. These major transformational projects were funded and delivered by Blacktown City Council. A testament to Council's ability to partner with industry in delivering large-scale infrastructure that supports our growing population. Council is committed to the further redevelopment of the Blacktown City Centre. Planning is well underway for Blacktown Quarter. The multi-million-dollar investment by the Walker Corporation that will transform the city centre, generate 4,500 permanent jobs and inject hundreds of millions of dollars into the city's economy. Blacktown City Council is committed to building a modern, diverse, multicultural city for our residents and businesses. Council's Community Strategic Plan 2025 to 2050 outlines the priorities, goals and values that will guide Council's decisions and investments over the next 25 years. The plan reflects the voices of more than 3,500 residents and sets a bold direction for the city's long-term future. The 2025 to 26 draft budget and the Community Strategic Plan lay the foundations for our city's sustainable growth and development for generations to come. Our 2025 to 26 budget documents and community strategic plan are now on display at council libraries and on council's website.
Well, this is exciting, and as one of Blacktown's residents, I love seeing how much is going into the support of our community. So now let's hear from our amazing panel members. Firstly to Tom Calmer. Tom, your organisation has been providing services to migrants for well over 35 years. Can you give us a brief snapshot of what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And before I do, I would like to also acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land that we're meeting today, the Darug people. And pay my respects to elders past and present, and also acknowledge that yesterday was National Sorry Day and today marks the beginning of Reconciliation Week. The theme for this year being Bridging Now to Next, I think is really an apt theme. It's about considering the past, the present and the future when we think about what reconciliation means in our country. And I think it's a really great example, like many examples, of where the wisdom of First Nations people is actually something we can all learn from, all communities across lots of different issues. I'm here representing SydWest Multicultural Services, as you said, and we actually started 40 years ago in 1985. It's a big year for us this year as our 40th anniversary, as the Blacktown Migrant Resource Centre. So we have very deep roots here in Blacktown. We're led by the formidable Elfa Maritakis, who I think is a bit of an institution in this area. And our vision is to create an inclusive society where all people have the opportunities to grow and thrive. I think a lot of people are probably familiar with our settlement services, and we have a great community engagement team who leads those services. We support 700 clients per year from migrant and refugee backgrounds settle in Australia. In the last year, we've helped over 100 people either find housing or remain in their housing situations. We support women and families through play groups and support programs. We see over 2,000 women and families attend those programs every year. And we also have youth programs which support youth through sporting events, through education, driving lessons, training. And we see over 200 people per year in those programs. So that's our settlement programs. We also run aged care. So we have actually quite a large part of our business is aged care and supporting people in the Western Sydney community and the Blacktown community. And we have over almost 2,500 people per year access our services through in-home supports or community group supports. And we really want to work with our clients to, age in ways that are their choice, that they want to age at home. SydWest has increased our capacity to support people with disability over the last few years. It's been a big part of our growth strategy. I came to SydWest through a merger with an organisation called Participate Australia in 2023. And Participate Australia is a disability service or not-for-profit in the inner west of Sydney. And more recently, in the last few months, we've also merged with an organisation called Riverlink Disability Services, which is a smaller organisation but has great capacity around supporting people with disability around accommodation, and particularly in Western Sydney. So that's been a really important part of our growth strategy. Because we really want to make sure that we're supporting all members of our community, including people with disability.
Now let's hear from Paul Taylor. Can you please give us a brief outline of your role at ACU and also the link between ACU, Blacktown Council and also Blacktown Exercise, Sports and Technology Hub?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Joy. Thank you also for leading us in the acknowledgement earlier, and Tom for your reflections on reconciliations and really wise insights there into that and the journey that we continue to make in that space. So my roles as Head of Discipline is firstly to ensure that ACU is meeting its expectations for our external accrediting bodies, but also, more importantly, our students, to ensure that in the exercise science space we're providing them with what they want to as they develop to become accredited exercise scientists. And as a deputy head of school, I'm involved in ensuring the operational elements of our offerings out at best meet those expectations again of the students. That I'm putting experts in front of them to allow them to learn from the best and to ensure that they've got the facilities that they need. And the good thing is, of course, at best there is absolutely no issue in terms of the facilities. Best is a wonderful asset that we have. I've been involved since the beginning of even the EOI of ACU considering delivering courses here in Blacktown, right through to right through to our initial offerings using the athletics centre. And then when we finally got to move into Best, we really saw an explosion of interest in what ACU is doing in the area. And I think the thing that really strengthens that is the relationship with council. It's a very supportive environment, and particularly in the development of Best and the ethos around the International Sports Park is that it's community at the centre. And we really see that Best is a place that people want to be. Our students want to be there. The community wants to be there. Our industry partners want to be there. They want to be involved in what we can do there. And whether that's teaching, whether that's research, whether that's our other community engagement activities, it's a wonderful hub for that within our discipline.
And I love that, and I can attest to that. My children also love to visit Best. They're not quite at the study age yet, but he's hoping. Thank you so much, Paul. Now turning to Dr. Kim Loo. Kim, by way of introduction, can you tell us a little bit more about your work?
Okay, so I've been a doctor for 36 years now, and I graduated from Sydney University and worked in Western Sydney for the entirety of my life. I represent the Australian Medical Association and the Royal Australian College of General Practice, and also my PHN, which is the West Primary Health Network. My area of interest really is the care of my patients. And I've done holistic care of patients, and this is why I have been looking at how they live, because how people live and how they work and how they survive within our society has been made really difficult by many people living in housing insecurity, in energy poverty, and food insecurity. So I call the social determinants of health. And then if you look at the environmental determinants of health, which is the heat waves that impact them, and around where I work in Rivo, I have had patients who were evacuated 4 times in 2 years. So people are being hammered in all those directions. And I can look after my patients, look after their disease, make sure they take their medications, make sure they eat at the right time the right food, and try to get adequate sleep and exercise. But not everyone has the resources to even do that. So beyond me looking after my patients, I've done a lot of systems advocacy in the built environment and in building codes and in connecting the ecosystem of universities and our primary health networks to actually look at the systems, because unless you look at every single problem in society is not a simple problem to fix. And we need to have the people who work in health spaces, work with people in the built spaces, work with people in government in order to have a healthier society.
Thank you. Now, I can see just from the people at these tables that we have a lot of passionate people in this community. And I thank you all for the work that you're doing, both at an individual level, a community level, and a systemic level. Mr. Mayor, we've heard briefly from each of these panellists, and I would love to hear from you. You can see the passion they have for our city. So what gives you the confidence that our council can really face the challenges that we have now and in the future?
Thanks, Joy. First of all, I want to start by saying thanks for your contribution to start with here. I do see the passion in everybody that's here at the table this evening. I have confidence that we can, because Council, Blacktown Council, as good as what they do. We got a great track record when it comes to delivering community infrastructure. We talked about Best. We delivered that $100 million project on time, within budget, and it's a great outcome, not for just our sporting community, but for our whole community. We built the Blacktown Animal Rehoming Centre. again, the largest facility in the Southern Hemisphere to look after animal health in our community, and other councils lean on us when it comes to supporting animals in their area as well. We are trusted through the Minns government to be able to deliver $273 million worth of projects through the Western Sydney Infrastructure Grants Program. Now that's 2 new swimming pools, better places for our people to cool down, because we need places to cool down. We got learn to swim in those places. When we talk about our multicultural community, we talk about people coming from overseas where swimming isn't natural. You know, people don't go swimming in the countries they've come from. So we need to be able to roll out those how to swim programs. We're building 2 new libraries, places for our kids to be able to study, safe places for them to go to. We're building 2 new art centres, the Blacktown Leo Kelly Art Centre here in Blacktown, and also the first of its kind, a First Nations cultural hub. And we spoke about now the importance of our First Nations people, and we all recognise here that it's important that we not only recognise them through Reconciliation Week, through Sorry Day and other times throughout the year, but this place will give them an opportunity to show off their culture, to be able to teach the next generation their culture as well. It's an important place, and we work with all our community to be able to listen to them, to be able to deliver these things as well. This doesn't just happen overnight. This comes because we have a plan. We have a strategic plan going forward, not just for the next 12 months, not just for the term of this council, but for the next 25 years through to 2050. We are in challenging times in local government. We've got rate pegging from the state government that's been in place since the 1970s. We've got cost shifting from previous governments. We also have high inflation. But our council continues to deliver balanced budgets. We continue to pay our bills and deliver for our community. Our $767 million budget, as you've seen within the video, there's lots and lots to do. But I'm confident we can do it because we have great staff. From the executive right down, we have got staff that is leading the way in the local government industry. We have numerous awards through to from our childcare centres to delivering infrastructure projects to the administration of our building here. We are leading the way, making sure that we deliver for our whole community. I hear a lot about a housing crisis and about building houses. We need to build more houses, and I agree with that. And we will do our fair share here in Blacktown in building houses. We've got a good planning department to plan that out. But we also have to build communities. It's not just about the 4 walls you live in. It's about the neighbours. It's about getting the kids outdoors. It's the whole community that we need to build. And I'm confident, working with the staff that we've got, financial sustainability, being able to work with our community, we can deliver on that promise.
Amazing. Thank you, Mayor Bunting. Now, we've talked about some of the challenges. We are a growing city, and that comes with new people and lots of diversity. And I'm thinking now, talking about that growth, what are some of the long and short-term challenges we may be facing? So, Tom, I'm going to throw to you. What are some of those challenges that are facing immigrants and refugees in our city? And are we getting better at handling those challenges? Are there more things that we should be doing, perhaps?
What I would say is I don't think that most of the challenges are new. I think there are challenges that have existed for a long time, and in some ways we're getting better, and in other ways we might even be sliding backwards. But I think some of the challenges, whilst they might not be new, they are being felt more intensely because of some of the pressures that are being felt by our community, and often disproportionately felt by the migrant and refugee communities. So one of the ones that comes to mind first and foremost is around access. And I think we're not just talking about physical access, but also access to services and systems. We're very, very fortunate in Australia that we have a lot of great systems and services out there. NDIS, My Aged Care, settlement services, and so forth. But there are still very persistent barriers to access for many people, whether that's around information, so language barriers, or just the complexity of the information and accessing those systems. But sometimes it's also expensive. There's a cost barrier to accessing those systems. I think of the NDIS, and in order to become eligible, you have to get a lot of reports done, and those cost money. And if you are lucky enough to not have to pay for those, it costs in time. So it's a long time to get those assessments done. So I think access is certainly one of the big challenges that we still need to tackle. I think there are barriers and challenges around employment, and we've been fortunate to work with Blacktown Council on initiatives like our Employment Accelerator, which is looking at how we can create, connections and pathways for people from migrant and refugee backgrounds into employment. We look at cost of living. So cost of living, I think, it will be no surprise to anyone, is a very, very big challenge faced by many of our community members. And it's very interesting, again, hearing from Dr. Loo about how you're looking at, addressing some of those issues around housing security and food security, and hearing from the Mayor about what the Council's doing, and I think about what we're doing on our end. And some of what we're doing is around material support for people. So it is around food vouchers, it is around paying the electricity bill and supporting people in that way. But it is also around building that community. So how do we build a community of people to be able to support each other and hopefully alleviate some of that pressure? And I guess the final challenge, which I'm sure will also come up, and I definitely won't speak too much about it because we've got someone on our panel much more experienced, but it is around heat, and it is around the impacts of climate change. And again, how that disproportionately affects members of our community because of the interrelatedness of all the other things. So the cost of living, meaning that someone can't get a car, and if they can't get the car, they might not be able to get the job. And if they can't get the job, they might not be able to afford, the air conditioner or, ways of managing things like heat. So I think that these challenges, they're all very much interrelated, and it is a complex. It is complex. I think that we've made a lot of good headway. I'm very positive to see the budget video and all of the initiatives that Council is bringing forward to look at building that community and that infrastructure to alleviate some of those pressures. But complex problem. But I think we're definitely, if we can work together as providers, and we can collaborate with Council and we can collaborate with universities and other providers, I think we've got a very good chance at making good headway.
Absolutely, thank you. And thank you for identifying the many people in our community who do need support. And I think the running theme I'm getting a sense of here is that need for connection and collaboration. And so, Mayor Bunting, I'd love to hear from you. How does Council help connect all of the different providers and the services so that those people in need get the help that they need?
You're right, it is really important to be able to communicate that. We work a lot in this area. Connecting our communities to service is really, really important. Recently, we released our social profile, which is a snapshot of our community. It enables those agencies to be able to connect with our community. We've actually put together a video which tells you a little bit more about that.
I'm Jamie, I'm the Programs Manager at Blacktown Area Community Centres. So we're a not-for-profit organisation. We work across the LGA. We've got a communities, a youth and also a early childhood programs team.
My name is Daniel Gopena. I'm the CEO of MECA, which stands for Mount Druitt Ethnic Communities Agency. Our organisation does two things mainly: help people settle well in Mount Druitt, and secondly, we help young people. We work with a lot of young people going to schools, running mentoring program, outside of schools, indoor sports, homework center.
I'm Marika, I'm working for The Hive. The Hive is the backbone organization for the Together in 2770 collective, and we work very closely together with community, other partner organizations, schools, council, other government entities and businesses to drive change and create change in the 2770 postcode.
The Blacktown Social Profile is an overview of all of the LGA, looking at the demographics and the areas and including all of the different people that we've got that make up, I guess, the diversity of Blacktown.
And the main thing about the social profile is that it gives you a snapshot of what's happening in the community, what are the needs, who are the people that's living, what do they do, if there's any trends happening in the community as well.
Really seeing the social profile as an addition to all the other data sets that are available, if it's a census, ADC data and so forth, to really have a broader understanding and insight into the social life and well-being in Blacktown.
The social profile is great for BAC. It helps us with our programming across all three of our programs. It helps with us delivering programs in different suburbs and areas across the LGA, but it also helps us to advocate for the community to different levels of government for different programs or services to be in those areas.
The social profile was really helpful because it as well drilled down right to the suburb level and providing information and data on what's actually is community life looking like. That's actually really important for us to have data more at a very, very local basis. And so the social profile did that and obviously really looks beyond the normal indicators, looking at well-being and how community feels in their suburbs.
Recently, one of the big grants we applied was actually called Safer Community, which is a federal government grant. And in that grant application, we did use a social profile that the council had. We were successful in that, so we're quite grateful for those kind of data to indicate the needs and show to the decision makers.
Recently we were lucky to get a club grant to do translations of our Ruby Roo book. Originally we were going to do it in Assyrian, and then we looked at the social profile and we were able to also do that in Tongan and also Bengali.
One is really having that evidence base to make decisions around our strategic planning. We're using it also for our submissions. So if it's our advocacy work to all levels of government, to really support that, having that official research from council is really, really helpful.
We've used it to do our 5-year strategic plan and also for grant writing and for an inquiry into loneliness with New South Wales Parliament.
To do those kind of grant applications to indicate a specific need in those small corners, you do need the local government who are focused on that area and provided those essential data. The council knowing the community very well and working with the community pretty much daily, that has improved the quality of data we have. So that therefore I think it's quite essential for us to have those kind of data to help us do what we do.
It's great that Blacktown Council's completed a social profile. It helps community organisations like BLAC delve deeper into the needs and support those of the community.
Paul, we were talking earlier about Blacktown Exercise, Sports and Technology Hub, and we were also talking about how the community and the need for community is changing. So given that that's an extension of the ACU campus, can you tell us how the community benefits from that facility?
Yeah, thanks, Joy. It's a good question, and I think that the community benefit occurs through a number of ways. It occurs in a number of ways, but they're all interrelated. I think the main one, obviously, is through the vision of council, first with looking to work with the university to open in Blacktown council area, and then also with the development and provision of BEST, is that we as a university are able to provide Blacktown young people the opportunity to study in their own city. And so they can study here in the place where they work, in the place where they live, where they recreate. And the Mayor talked about trying to build a community. It's hard to build a community when your young people are leaving every day to move out of Western Sydney so they can study. And so they can do that here, and we're seeing that, and we're seeing a love of that within our students. They have a very strong identity. It's stronger than I've seen on any of our other campuses. They're not just ACU students, they're ACU Blacktown students. Another way is ACU is a faith-based organisation, and as a result we have a mission statement. Now, we're not alone in that. Plenty of organisations have a mission statement, but we hope that we pay more than lip service to our mission statement, and one of the ways we live that out is through our community engagement activities. Every student at ACU in an undergraduate course is expected to undertake a community engagement unit. And through those units, we provide them with often an initial introduction to things like social determinants of health that Dr. Loo talked about, things like UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we look for them to undertake an engagement with a community that often represents a lived experience different to their own. The benefit of us in Blacktown is that we have a plethora of community organisations who are willing to work with us, provide opportunities for our students, but it's also a mutually beneficial relationship that we look to develop with them. It needs to flow in both ways. And these are students who are going to go on, graduate, and then practice within the town that they grew up in, the city that they grew up in. And they're going to take their new knowledge and their new skills and use that to benefit their community.
That's amazing, and I think it's such a powerful testament to your commitment to bring people together and also acknowledge the diversity of lived experience. I think that's such a powerful program, so thank you, Paul. While we're talking about community and the facilities that benefit, the Mayor recently unveiled expansion plans for the Mount Druitt PCYC, one of the projects under the Western Sydney Infrastructure Grants program.
For somebody who has grown up in this town just down the road here, remembering when this opened up, remembering when Kevin Betts opened up, seeing money invested into Mount Druitt is really, really important, and I know the PCYC are leading the way when it comes to those programs and being a champion of giving kids a chance. Of course, we're going to have 2 multi-purpose indoor courts here, a youth hub where people can meet and socialise, new entries and reception. I'm really, really excited about what we're going to see here.
There's such a rich legacy that PCYC has built over so many years. There's not many organisations that exist in New South Wales that have been around, and PCYC for 88 years now has been striving to give young people a better chance at so many things in life. What we really do is focus on outcomes for young people. PCYC exists for the community, and we're built by the community.
We love this sort of work, community with really strong roots into the community, because it's really rewarding to see projects we do actually changing lives and people can use them in a really active sort of way.
Now turning to Dr. Loo, Kim, as a local doctor, I'd love to hear from you what you've seen as threats to local community health and what are some of the things that we might start doing about it?
I think the threat to local community health is when you're poor, the way you exercise is you walk outside. And what heat waves do, what I do is I get people to look at their house, find a room that's cool. So during hot days, you can cool down one room, make sure you do all the right things. But if it's really hot outside and you have nowhere to walk, you stay inside. If we don't have outside spaces, green spaces, blue spaces, then, kids are feral inside a cool room. You can't, as a group of teenagers, go into a shopping centre to keep cool. You need spaces that people can safely be outside. And there's so much evidence now that you have lots of green spaces with blue's water, and you can integrate that into almost any nook and cranny now, because there's so much evidence from studies done from Sydney University and an academic called Thomas Burt Astle, that if you put spaces where people can walk outside safely, you reduce the crime rate. You improve people's physiological health, improve their blood pressure, improve their memory. It's really we need to reimagine what our future can be. We can have a greener space. We can have spaces where people can thrive and not just survive. But, you know, the narrative and the leadership has been missing in so many places now. And we have the opportunity to build a better future. And it requires government, so universities and communities to work together to have that narrative. Because, you know, in order for all of us to benefit, you need to have public spaces so that everyone benefits.
Thank you so much. And I love the way you've encouraged all of us really to reimagine that future and really picture in our mind what we would like our city to look like and what those spaces could look like. Now, Mr. Mayor, in the budget video, we heard briefly about FOGO. What is FOGO, and can you give us a brief outline?
I love FOGO. It's the most talked about thing. We go around to pop-ups throughout shopping centres, and people will tell us, when's the green bin coming? So FOGO is basically short for food and organics waste, or your green bin. And other councils have got it, and Blacktown's rolling theirs out between June and August. We've got a big city. It takes us 3 months to get a green bin out to everybody that's eligible. Those that are eligible are those that have their own bins now. So if you share a bin, if you're in a unit or if you're in townhouses and you share a bin, yours isn't coming yet. It will come soon by 2027. But if you've got your own bin, we're going to give you a green bin. Now, green bins are not just for your garden waste, which I love. Go home Friday evening, cut my grass, somewhere to put the grass clippings is great. People out there gardening, somewhere to put all those leaves and all the extra gardens, but it's also for food as well, which is really important that we're taking all that food waste away from our red litter, away from the landfills, and we'll be able to recycle it. And you might say, well, how do we do that? The good thing is, we're going to give you one of these. It's a kitchen caddy. And as you can see, it's not big, fits on the kitchen counter. And each day, when you finish your dinner, if they've got scraps, it all goes inside here. And what we also do is we give everybody these green bags. And these green bags break down. They're for your food. They sit inside this. You can pick it up and put it straight inside your green bin on weekly pickups. So we will pick up your green bin weekly. We will still pick up the red bin weekly. And as usual, your yellow bin will be picked up fortnightly. So it's an additional service. It's the biggest change we've done to our waste services in over 30 years. It will take some getting used to. We will give you information. Within this kitchen caddy will also be information about what you can put into the bins. And we will keep talking to our community on how important it is and how they do it. Of course, you can always go to our website or call us for more information on this particular service. But the other thing that they keep asking me, and these are a little bit of the naysayers, they say, how much is it going to cost me for this green bin? Well, what I can tell you, just for the additional green service, it'll cost you an additional 33 cents a week. That's all. Now we've been able to take all that rubbish away from landfill, recycle it, and give you more rubbish space as well. And we're still keeping our 12 pickups a year as well. So you can still order those online or by calling us.
Thank you. And thank you for clarifying too, because I was having this discussion with my husband about what we can and cannot put in there. So I'm looking forward to getting that information. And also, I know there are a lot of people in my suburb who are very excited about this. Interestingly, we did actually happen to run into a local resident who was keen to give us a very practical demonstration.
Great news, Blacktown City. Your new green bins are on the way. Between June and August this year, we'll deliver the green bin to your households. It's for food and garden waste. We will still pick up your red bin weekly. The yellow bin will still be fortnightly, but the great news is the green bin will be picked up weekly. So I know what it's like to get home, cut the grass and have somewhere to be able to put those clippings. For more information, go to our website or call the phone number on the screen.
Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to hear from all of our panellists on what they see as the main positives and some of the challenges that lie ahead for our city and for council. Firstly, over to you, Tom.
When I think about the positives, the first thing that really does come to mind is within the Blacktown community, how strongly connected and proud and such a strong, I think, as you put it, Paul, like a strong sense of identity that the community has. It's not like other places in Sydney. That kind of identity and that connection is such a strength of the community, and it really does lead to social cohesion, and it does mean that we are more likely to work together to kind of tackle some of the issues that we're facing. And I think that this is on a community level, it's also on a provider level. So, again, one of the great things about working at SydWest is we have the opportunity to work with lots of other providers, with universities, with council, with the police, with other services. And we can see that it's that type of connection and that type of collaboration which is going to deliver the results that we need. I think about our program New Way Forward, which is it's a program designed as an early intervention program for young people who have either interfaced or are at risk of interfacing with the justice system. And it's about how can we provide interventions to support those young people onto a different path. And it's a successful program, but the strength of that program is about the collaboration and the connection and working together with the young people, with the police, with other providers. So I think that these are great positives, and there are really great opportunities that will come. We've heard about the development and the growth of the Blacktown community. I think that's going to have a huge amount of benefits to the community in terms of employment opportunities, housing, access to services, infrastructure, public transport, and so forth. But I do think this does come with challenges. It's critical that we create spaces where people can meet and gather and connect. A lot of the work that we do is reliant on council space to run events, to run forums, to bring people together. But it's also important that we think about the green space and the blue space. And, in the time that we are developing these big developments, we can't forget that those spaces are still needed now. Another one which, I know is really important to Blacktown Council as well is about women feeling safe in Blacktown. And I'm not just talking about feeling safe on the streets of Blacktown, but also feeling safe at home. I think we know that unfortunately the incidence of reportable domestic violence reports are high, and we can get those numbers down, but it is not a simple solution. And I think we need to work together. The providers, council through creating spaces and programs, our health sector, we all need to be working together to create those early intervention programs around education, around preventative measures to reduce those instances of domestic violence and to make sure that all of our community members, especially our women, feel safe. And where we can't create those interventions is having safe pathways for those women. I think finally that the last thing I'd like to say is that there is undoubtedly a strong multicultural voice in Western Sydney and in Blacktown. And we want to make sure that that voice always filters through to council. When I think about diversity, it's not just about cultural diversity, it's about people from LGBTQI+ communities. It's about people from all different stages of their life. It's about people with disability. It's about people with all abilities. So I think that there's great opportunities there, and it's something that we would love to not only work with council, but with universities and other providers to look at how can we make sure that as we co-design and as we develop plans, that we're really incorporating that voice of our community.
Thank you. And thank you for the ongoing work that you do to advocate for all the people in our community, a very diverse community. Now, Paul, it's over to you. What are your key takeaways from today?
I think we've taken away, as Tom said, there's so many positives, and we are surrounded by them in our work at ACU, and with facilities and with support. And we're able to turn that into what we hope is a wonderful experience for our students. In terms of challenges as well, many of the challenges we do have are not bad ones to have. They're brought around by the fact that we're growing. So, we're already starting to think about space, where we are, how do we work with all of the community partners and industry partners that are reaching out to us who want to be involved in what we're doing in Blacktown. But I think in terms of other challenges, and this is something that faces all universities, but it's about ensuring that we stay relevant, ensuring that we continue to serve the communities in which we're based, and that we are listening. So when we are going about our work, we're doing it in a way that is responding to the desires of the communities that we are educating and that we're working within.
Thank you. And I'm confident that with the engagement that you're committed to, that will happen. So thank you so much. Now, over to you, Dr. Loo. I know you have big dreams and also that you tackle things from a broader lens.
I might just mention also two other organisations, Voices of Power and Sydney Community Forum. So Voices of Power is very local, and what they're advocating for is really solar for renters, but having thermally efficient houses for renters as well. And the other group I'm with is Sydney Community Forum, and we work with Energy Consumers Australia. And what we're doing is getting energy companies to have their bills translated into language, and to have the ability for people to speak to people at any of the retail organisations in their language so they understand power bills. They're organising community hubs, like a sort of like a mobile service to go to communities to try to explain their energy bills, because people don't know when they're scammed or being overcharged when they don't understand the bill. So those are two discrete things I'm all working with. But the other thing I'm excited with is that for the last 2 years, I've been representing the AMA and RACGP at the Greater Sydney Heat Task Force. And having spent 8 years in advocacy for heat adaptation, this is exciting because it is funding from federal, state and local government, and Blacktown is really integral to this part. So it's organised by Western Sydney Regional Organisation of Councils. So it's a big task force that we've been actually getting together for 2 years. There's 23 task force members. We engage almost 400 organisations. And it's a task force. So, and we are sort of each organisation within this space, and also, I should say, includes all the utilities and police as well, and the ambulance service, who are now the lead agent for heat within New South Wales. It was previously the police. So in this space, there's actually meaningful stuff happening, because there's so many gaps in what happens during a heat wave? What happens if there's a heat wave? What does the community do? The plan was really appalling before. There was so many gaps. But now this is in place, and all of the organisations with this, including 3 universities, we're all working together. And so it gives me hope, because if this gets adequate continuous funding, then this Greater Sydney Heat Task Force is the model for the rest of Australia.
Thank you, Dr. Loo, and I am in awe of your passion and your expertise. I love that everybody on this panel is doing whatever they can to make practical and intentional change for our community, which is wonderful. Mr. Mayor, it's your turn. What do you see as the key takeaways from this evening?
Thanks, Joy. What I keep talking about time and time again, as you've heard me here tonight, is building a community, building a better community. Especially as we're growing, we've got to make sure that we keep working together, we keep listening to each other, and we keep moving forward as one. Here tonight, I knew we had a good panel. We've got representatives from education, representatives from health, representatives from our multicultural community. These are three really important things within our community to make sure that we've got a good health system. And a good health system isn't necessarily just having a place to go and get your prescription. You know, that you've got a cold. It's a lot more. And Dr. Kim talked a lot about what we need to do around heat and around fixing that in our community. And what I can tell you, Dr. Kim, is as the newly elected president of Wes Rock, who has been leading the way in this heat task force, I've been meeting with ministers in regards to changing some of the planning laws, in regards to opening up some waterways, in regards to working with health to make sure that we can start working on these things that you've worked on for so long. When we talk about education, I can't agree more in regards to making sure, Paul, that we have good quality education close to home. You spoke about that, and it's the reason that we reached out to the university sector. And we have a great partner now in ACU delivering university degrees here, but ones that mean a lot for us here too, not just in sports science, but also in teaching and nursing, which is a big uptake in our community. And the more quality education, whether that is preschool, which we lead the way in this particular area. One of our preschools just won the best preschool in the area, the local Blacktown Business Awards. Also talking about primary school, high school, and especially in around tertiary education, whether that's at university or TAFE. And Tommy, when it comes to multiculturalism, SydWest is up there making sure that our community, as you would know, 188 different nationalities call Blacktown home. It's tough to make sure that we're working with everybody. And it's not just council's responsibility, but our all community responsibility to make sure that we're doing that. And we need partners like yourself, like Mecca, like BAC, as you've seen on these videos earlier here, to be able to work, to understand, and to feed that information back to council. And I know that SydWest works really well with council moving forward. We've got challenges. We need to make sure that we're spending our money in the right places. We need to deliver lots of different things. As you see on our video, we've got a big plan ahead to do lots of infrastructure. But we've got to keep doing the little things. We've got to keep making sure that we plant trees. We've got to make sure that we deliver the parks for people to get out and about in. We've got to make sure that we still fill those potholes. That's the biggest complaint I get. When are you going to fix the pothole in front of my place? And it's important. We need to do the little things and the big things. We need to provide spaces for people to get out, festivals that we hold, so that families have somewhere to go close to home. You don't need to travel to the eastern suburbs to get this community support. It's here at home for you. So we'll keep doing that. We'll keep talking to the community as we move forward. Never a true word said we can only do this together. We're not going to do it as one identity. We've got to make sure that us, along with our residents, our businesses and our community groups, keep talking and we keep building a better community for Blacktown.
Amazing, thank you. I've no doubt after tonight that no matter what challenges face the community, there are many, many people committed to amazing positive change and to work together to build a thriving community. I want to thank our panellists for tonight, Tom Karma from SydWest Multicultural Services, Paul Taylor from ACU, Dr Kim Loo, and of course the Mayor of Blacktown City, Brad Bunting.